Hi there, everyone. My name is Jay Chapman. I'm a business coach for the ZING Project. I work with salon owners to help them take their business from good to great so that they can have freedom of time, an incredible team, and substantial money, whatever that means to you. And I'm joined here today with my work colleague. That's us on the screen there. Marie, do you want to say hello, Marie?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. And we're very excited to bring this topic to you about work-life balance and really getting something that I think everybody wants is to have that great balance between their work and having their life really balanced out throughout the whole entire year.
Absolutely. And I think when we speak to salon owners or spa or clinic owners, uh, when we ask what it is that they want to achieve or what their challenges are, it's usually team, it's money, or they don't have enough time. So this is always in those top three of things that we are challenged with when we have a salon, spa, or clinic. So I'm
Exactly. And
very
we were
excited about this topic, very passionate about this topic.
absolutely, and we were in this exact same place in our businesses before we become coaches. So we've lived this and we understand it from the start to the finish, and we made a change. And we want to share that with you today.
Absolutely. And that's what gives us credibility because we've both been burnt out and we've both achieved balance. So we know what it's like to walk in your shoes.
Mm.
Wow, look at those flash PowerPoint transitions. Aren't they clever? So the first thing is that we need to wear the t-shirt. So we joked years back that we need to get t-shirts printed for everyone in our industry that reminds people when they look down or they look in the mirror that I am the problem and that I am the solution. So I want you to draw a line in the sand today and think about what is it that you can do to finally, after all of this time in your entrepreneurial journey as owning a business, is how can I achieve balance for once, whatever that means to you. Cool?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like if you haven't lived this, then you've got to really think about where you're at in your business. Sometimes we blame our team, and I think, well, it's their fault, and it's not. It's actually us. We are the problem, and we're the solution to fix it. We just have to really put our hand up and say, help. I need help with this.
Absolutely, for sure. And it's amazing. I had a client contact me, it was probably a month or so ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And she finally got to the point where she was working part-time hours on her business. And she has three young children under 10 or 11. And she was saying to her father about how stressed she was. Oh, this is happening and that's happening. And oh, it all gets on top of me sometimes. And he said to her, he's a 65-year-old bloke, he said to her, maybe it's because you're not in that business enough. And she called me because we'd worked so hard to get the salon systemized and her in the right mindset. We'd worked so hard for that big seed of doubt to be planted. And she thought, wow, am I really meant to be in there? Have I made a mistake? Do my team need me? And that's a part of the mindset that we go through is that when we're a business owner, we have to work 60 hours a week. Now, myself and Marie we know firsthand that is a temporary option. You will.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Absolutely. So I think what we want to unpack firstly is the problem that is, and that's your time. Okay. So what we've got here is just some dot points. And the first one here is you really have two jobs. So most of you are technicians. So you're hairdressers or beauty therapists, or maybe nurse injectors or dermal therapists. But maybe you even have three jobs. Maybe you're the cleaner, maybe you're a mum or a dad, maybe you're the soccer coach, maybe you're the all things to all people. And the two biggest jobs that you have is being a technician and being a business owner. And that's a lot. That's a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders. So you don't actually have one job. So when you go home at night at 5:30 or 8 p.m., you don't switch off because you know that you have a business running in your absence. So really need to appreciate that we are busy. You've got to cut yourself some slack. We are all things to all people.
We certainly are. And look, the thing is, we have no real plan. So we're just going all the time. And I'm sure that you can all know and understand that that's happened to you. Just go and go and go and go. We juggle all the balls in the air, and we're trying to be everyone to everyone, aren't we? We're trying to do everything we possibly can to get that business to where it needs to be. And we're spending time on the business all the time, on it, and there's no downtime. We need to find the balance of how you're going to get to that, because without having that balance and making the time and putting the time aside, you'll still be in the same place you are now. And if you've been doing this for 10 years or 12 years, or maybe it's just 1 year, fix it now. Don't let it get to 12 years down the track before you think, I need to fix this problem. I've got no time for me.
Absolutely. And not having a real plan is also not planning to have time off, to have leave. And I know it was 2015, I said to Marie, I cannot do another year like this. And from then she said, okay, get your big planner out, the big Office Works yearly planner that goes on the wall. And I booked 7 weeks off.
Yeah.
7 weeks. I had 7 weeks off. And Marie's an overachiever, so she had 8 for the year.
And do you know what though, Jay? We never did that. And I think the thing is, it's probably okay for someone listening to this to think, well, that's okay for you. But we mastered this in the end years of our business once, you know, we were both coached by ZING, and it is possible to do. And, you know, we hear it time and time again, you've got to mark the time out first. You're the most important person. Get that planner out and mark the time in now, even for next year, and be super organised and ready for it.
Absolutely. And it's like Lisa Conway, she always says in her presentations, and it's mentioned in one of her books, I can't remember which one, but she said it's like when you're on an aircraft about to take off, and they say, look after yourself first and place your own oxygen mask on before you look after everyone else. And you are absolutely no good to anyone when you are burnt out and at the end of your tether.
That's right. And the one thing that we do is, I used to do it as a salon owner, is you sort of think, oh, Sally's off going to wherever, and this one's going to Bali, and she's off going, oh, what about me? And you think it to yourself, but you're not marking out the time. So if you mark yourself out first, they can fit around you.
Absolutely. So the third point there is on, in, and downtime. So if we think about working on your business and in your business as a technician, and then also downtime, one of those elements is planned within an inch of its life, and that's working in your business. So can you imagine trying to run a salon column full of haircuts and colours and blow waves and rinses and tones and bikini waxes and spray tans and all those wonderful things that we get to do? Can you imagine running that without a schedule or without structure?
You just couldn't do it, could you?
No, it wouldn't work. It'd be like feeding time at the zoo. There would be people everywhere. And it's impossible. You could not do it. So why would you, when you work on your business, maybe a very common day is a Monday or a Tuesday, why would you not work on your business with the same amount of structure? But then even when you're not on holidays, when you take your Friday off or you have your Sunday, Monday off, why don't you plan things on your day off that top you up, that make you feel good? Like I call Marie a couple of times a day and I say, what are you doing? You say, it's my day off, I'm at Pilates. Oh, I'm out with a girlfriend, or I'm walking Dozer, my dog, or I'm pulling weeds out in the garden. So you have to have structured things that top you up, that make you feel good. So one of my clients said to me recently, we were planning her downtime, and she said, you know what? Before I had a business, I used to get up and watch the sunrise, and that was my thing. No, not sunrise as in Koshi and Mel. I don't think Mel's been on it for years, actually. But anyway, for those playing at home in New Zealand, it's a morning show, breakfast show on in the morning. Would have went over your head. But she said to me, that's what gives me joy. That's what makes me start the day on the right foot. So schedule it in, pop it in your diary like you're working in your business, and schedule it in. We need to top up our batteries and do the things that make us feel really good, whatever that is.
Exactly.
So with your holidays, when I speak to a salon owner for the first time and I find out how much time they're spending on their business and downtime and annual leave, really common that they say, oh, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks or none. And when you have 2 jobs, shouldn't you have 2 lots of annual leave?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did you sign up to be a business owner for? It could have been because you were creative. It could have been because you wanted to earn more money than working for wages. But was there anything in there that you thought, I could work part-time and do this? This would be cool. I could take holidays whenever I want without having to put in for holidays.
Mm.
But do we actually ever follow through and do that?
No,
No, we don't.
we don't. And I think one of the things, Jay, that we do exceptionally well and help our clients with at Zing is we really hone in on helping them form a bit of a plan of when they work on the business and actually do business things, not pay the wages and all the smaller things. This is about, planning your marketing and planning your social media and actually getting traction and tracking things and getting the return on investment that you actually put into your business and seeing what, look at your future value of your business for the month and put goals in around that. And when we have that plan for the client's excited because I'll say, so how long will it take? It'll take you to do this about 4 hours. And they're like, wow. So yeah, it's really good. So tracking, you'll see here, tracking your time and tracking what happens in your business is so important, but also tracking your home life and tracking what you do on the business. So on the floor, when you're working as a technician, when you're working as a beauty therapist, might be an injector, when you're doing that time with clients, maybe you could fill out like a default diary, as we call it, and you could fill it in your own, like a personal diary, and just write down, Sunday is just the time with you and your family, maybe your kids. Monday is the time and you might work between 8 and 1 and it's just on your business. But when you fill this out, it's a bit like a food diary. I think the real things come out and you're doing things at 8 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's scattered throughout the whole week. Where if you just spent 4 structured hours or 5 structured hours in a row, you get so much more done.
Absolutely. And I tend to favor blocks of time. So having, let's say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off to really get in the flow of looking after yourself and your family, and then work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and work on the floor. So you're really in the flow of being an amazing technician and giving 100% to your team. And then Thursday, dedicate all of Thursday to working on the business. And then that way you're not stopping and starting and Joanne's running late, so I'll count the stock. And you just have to swap hats too often and you don't gain enough momentum. And I think we are in the industry where we really celebrate multitasking. When someone writes, if they were to tell me that they're an amazing multitasker, they're basically saying to me that they're very unorganized because they're trying to juggle 3 or 4 different things at once. Now, I know I'm male, so we're particularly bad at that. But what it means is that you're doing your wages and then you're doing stock and then you better do a blow wave. It actually says to me that you're not efficient. So don't pride yourself on multitasking. That's not a positive. You need to have set time to dedicate yourself and do 100% deep dive and give 100% to the task that's at hand, that's in front of you right now.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of clients that come to us, they come to us with, but I do all of that. And it's true. They're doing it at so many different times of the day. I spoke with a client just today and she said to me, I was doing an order and then my client turned up early. And I thought, well, how was that done correctly? Like, you just can't focus if you're doing it like that.
And let's be really clear. We didn't plan on talking about this, but hey, I like to make it up as I go along. But there's 2 different ways that you can work on your business. One is admin. That does not get you closer to your goal. Admin is counting stock and placing an order. That doesn't get you closer to your goal. That just replenishes stock. Something that's going to get you closer to your goal is working on your business, planning about growth of your business, looking at your figures, comparing last month to the same month last year, looking at your notes for your next team meeting or one-on-one meeting, looking at your marketing tracker. That's the stuff that gets you closer to your goal, not admin. Some people come to us and they say, yes, I work on my business. It's Monday. I do my wages. I do my data entry. I do my stock orders. That doesn't get you close to your goal. That's not actually working on your business. That's admin tasks. Cool. Now, and if we had an hour today, we'd talk to you about outsourcing, which is probably Marie's favourite topic.
Ooh, love it, love it.
Love an outsource. Oh, there's another flash PowerPoint transition. It's very flash what we've got happening here, isn't it? So the next slide here is really something that's going to be able to leverage your time so that you can focus on what you need to focus on so that you can take that time off and you're not stressed, which is systems. Okay, so what systems are a proven way to do things that get the best outcome for everyone involved in the most efficient period of time. So a lot of hairdressers in particular push back against systems because we're creative people. I'm allowed to say that. I'm a hairdresser by trade. Marie's a beauty therapist. And we find beauty therapists are more structured because that's how their training's delivered. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Step 3, do that. Cool. So what systems allow you to do is stop the free range chicken element in your business, which is opening up the gates at the start of the day and letting the chickens run wild and then bring them in at the end of the day. Come on, girls, and locking them up. So God knows what happens throughout the day. And that's sometimes what your team are doing when they're not following a set way to deliver service and to do the tasks in your business that have the best outcomes for everyone.
Yeah, so one of the systems I think always in everyone's business that comes up, we've all got a printer and they always come to you with such a silly menial task of the printer doesn't work. And I remember this happening even in my business, and we used to put like a little note on it. A little laminated note went on the top and it was just step-by-step process. And if you don't have this, you can't anticipate like what the outcome's going to be, because if you weren't there, they could do anything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about this is how you count the till, or this is the end of day process, or this is how you clean the salon from front to back. A lot of salons have that written down. This is about how to deliver your service in your absence. How do you like a consultation to be performed in each service? The reason why we're going down to this level of detail and talking about systems is if you remove yourself from the business and take a week off, or if you start to work part-time in your business, performance will drop. It will absolutely drop. I will guarantee it, if you don't have your business running like a well-oiled machine. Problem with that is you'll get sucked back into the business because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, which means that when you remove yourself from the business, things go down that affect performance. And when you put yourself back in, things go back up. And you think, well, I can't remove myself. You can. You have to have proven systems. But like point number 2, the problem that we have with systems is we write the system and then we just give it to the team. Now, Gen Ys and millennials, which are over 80% of our workforce now, don't like to be told what to do. You need to involve them in the process and give them an idea of why you're systemizing the business. Be honest. I want to put systems in so that when I remove myself, the business still grows.
That's right. You don't have to always be there. Like, the best time to put systems in is if you're thinking in advance, well, I'm going to have holidays in March. Let's start that process now. If you've got, you don't need 6 months, but if you've got time to do it, put the time aside and set the system, practice it, check if it works, and make sure that everyone knows that system within the business. Otherwise, you're going to be exactly like Jay said, you'll be pulled back in, you'll be standing there and you'll be looking around like meerkats. What's Susie doing? What's John doing now? I wonder if they've gone into that room yet. Oh, I'll just check. And you're not focusing on what you should be doing is looking after your client when you're in the business.
Absolutely. And I was the worst meerkat. And the problem was when I was in my salon, before I had a coach, of course, to teach me otherwise, that if I didn't have my ears pricked up listening to what my receptionist was saying to the clients, I wouldn't be able to correct her behavior or the scripts or whatever she was saying to that client because I wasn't listening to her. But I didn't have a system to give her of how do you greet clients? How do you answer the phone? How do you book an appointment? So if I wasn't listening to her, I wouldn't be able to do the quality control.
Yeah, I wasn't a meerkat. My girls used to call me ASIO because I could hear through the walls what they were saying.
That's right. That's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so
I remember when I first met Marie 712 years ago in Melbourne, when they still had candlelight lamp posts in the streets in Melbourne. It was that long ago. I said, do you have a manager in your salon? She said, yeah, I've got two, one for the beauty side and one for the hair side. I said, oh, wow, that's awesome. And she said, you know what was really cool? I went in there last week when I wasn't meant to be in there. She wasn't working on clients. And her managers were at the front desk having a chat about something. And they looked up and they said, oh, Marie, hello, what are you doing here? So the salon ran so well without Marie, they were like, oh, who's this? Why are you here? You don't need to be here. Bugger off. And I thought that is the ultimate compliment in business.
Yeah. And when they first said it, I actually went, okay, it's my business. Like, I didn't say that, but I actually was thinking it. And then I thought, that actually works. Let it keep going.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. There's not enough of this. There's not enough of a paper trail in our business. So you're always tied to the business. Okay. So it's as simple as even what we teach our ZING clients is a system can be a photo. So when you open the reception drawer in my salon, there's all photos of how I like the stock to be put away. There's photos of how I like the reception desk to be left. There's photos of how I like the back bar to look with all the shampoos, conditioners and treatments in a row. You don't need to write that down. You just need to take a photo and say, this is what I'd like it to look like. And then they just have to reference it with the photo.
And we're very visual. We need a photo because we're more visual people. So they don't want to have a list of 10 things to look at. They just want that visual picture, don't they?
Absolutely. And I think that there's no right or wrong order for things to be done in, but there's definitely more efficient ways to do things. And I even know I'm fortunate enough to have a lady come once a week to clean my house from front to back. It's very lovely. I'd give up my left arm before I gave up her, I tell you. And and I was watching her one day, and she started to mop half the lounge room, and then she'd stop, and then she'd vacuum the bedroom, and then she'd stop that, and then she'd mop the other half, and then she'd do the toilets in one bathroom, and she was just stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. And I thought I couldn't help myself. I was biting my lip, and I said, Jenny, can I give you some advice on something? I reckon I could help you with a system of how to clean this house. I'll still be able to pay you the same amount. You'll be able to get out in half the time. Is that something that you're interested in? And she said, bloody oath. So I said, why do you do this? And she said, I don't even realise that I'm doing it like that. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now she's out in 90 minutes, not 2.5 hours. How good is that for leveraging your time? So she was still getting the job done like most of us would. It's just there is a logical order to do things. And that's what a system does.
That's right. And if you've got a team that are very stuck in their ways and they don't want to change, always bring up that conversation of, are you open to constructive criticism? Because I can find you an easier way to do that. Would you like me to show you? And it just makes life so much easier, and you can change that person that's a bit stubborn to your systemized way.
And the reason why we designed this webinar today around systems, just as a reminder that we can tell you to book 8 weeks off in a year and take weekends away and cut down to part-time in your business. If you don't have systems, you'll set yourself up for failure. So just to remind you of that, this is why we're talking about systems. Cool. Oh, Zing Doc, there we go. So what we need to think about is, how do we fix this problem once? How do we commit 100% and give ourselves and our business and our team the best possible chance for implementing this change, booking in your holidays, setting some goals around removing yourself off the floor, getting organized with your time working on the business and all your admin tasks. How do we do this so we don't have to repeat history over and over again? And some of you that are listening to this webinar today will be veterans in the industry. You've been working as a hairdresser or a beauty therapist for 30 plus years. And if you're in the same position as what you were 10 years ago, guess what? There's probably a fair chance that you have tried this time and time again. So I want you to do some really good quality critical thinking about how can I fix this once and for all so that I don't have to repeat history? Because really what you'll end up doing is setting yourself up for failure, rocking the boat within your clients and your team, pissing everyone off, and ending up in the same position, deflated.
Yeah, so true.
We need to fix our problems once, not doing the rework, which is over and over and over and over again. It's exhausting. Cool. Mm-hmm. Just a reminder, wear the T-shirt. You are the problem and you are the solution. And Marie said to me only yesterday, she said, isn't it amazing that in our mastermind and in our entrepreneurs collective group, that we can teach the exact same lesson. They're watching us at the same time. They're listening with the same set of ears, and they all perceive and implement the actions differently. Yep. Some toe the line, some do it really quick. Some people are messaging you 5 minutes after the session saying, I've done it. So I think the only thing that stops you from being the best version of you is you. So true, isn't it?
Isn't it? And I think that you need to really own up to this. And it's one thing that we always think it's the team. We always think it's the supplier didn't deliver it on time, and training's not going well. Oh, it's expensive. We've always got something to complain about or whinge about. But if we really think about it and spent the right time on the business, the right time in the business, and the time with your family or your friends, and get a real balance of life in and out of your salon, you would actually say, I'm the problem and the solution, and you'd fix it once and for all.
And I spoke to a salon owner from New Zealand, a regional area in New Zealand this morning.
Yep.
And she was stuck. She wasn't growing in her business. And she put it down to the lack of people entering our industry, and being in a regional area. It was a town, I think it was about 25,000 people, that there's not many hairdressers. And she feels like she loses one, she gains one. She loses one, she gains one. It's a very common problem in our industry. And she felt stuck at this stage. She wasn't growing, she wasn't progressing. And when I asked her, I said, so are you currently advertising for a team member? She said, no, I haven't placed an ad for 6 months. That's half a year. That's a part of your problem. You're not advertising. And when I said to her, well, do you think it'd be helpful if you were actually advertising? And she said, yeah, no, it's silly. Of course. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll whip an ad up and I'll pop it on. And I said, could you send the ad to me? Do you think it's the best work you've ever done? And she said, probably not. So we need to really look hard at ourselves, which can be very uncomfortable. And if you've been working 60 hours a week for 10 years, is there a possibility that the problem isn't everyone else? It isn't the industry. It isn't that there's no team members out there. It isn't that's just the nature of small business. Is there potential that you were the problem? Cool. So Lisa said to me years ago, she said, we have the best job in the world, don't we? I said, how so? And she said, we can have a session with a salon owner, growl at them, tell them that everything is their fault, and at the end of it, they go, wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And, we don't growl at our clients. We just help them build that epiphany bridge so they get up really high, looking down subjectively and go, yep, I'm the problem, and this is what I'm going to do to fix it. It's pretty cool.
Great. We absolutely love it. So thank you for joining us today. And if we can do this, so can you. We've walked in your shoes. We're now business coaches for the industry. If we can have done it, and we certainly believe you can as well. And we'd love you to reach out to us if you need to touch base and ask any further questions that you might have.
And hopefully the information that we've presented tonight has resonated with you, and you've taken some notes and some key tips, and you can implement some change in your business that will allow you to really achieve the work-life balance that you deserve and get a real return on the effort and time that you put into your business. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Look forward to speaking to you all soon.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.